Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's live Q&A session with Mr. Chris Palmer and my good self. Before we go into anything, please do check out ODYS. The link is below. You can get up to 30% off of the domains on the marketplace. 30% off, not as cashback, 30% off of domains that are on the marketplace just now. So make sure that you do check it out. There might be something there that tickles your fancy. So make sure you grab it while you can, because they're all done on a first come, first served basis. But other than that, do you like that one, Chris? Tickle your fancy.
Pretty. You always start off with something fun, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's ODYS. But yeah, we are here to answer your questions. Any questions at all. It can be local, YouTube, whatever you want. Live IRL fan. He was first in yesterday and he's first in today. Updates on the phones, Chris. What does this mean? What are you hiding from us?
I don't know about anything public. You know, I think one of the bigger tests, I have a gentleman, he's out in Santa Barbara, I think, in California. He pretty much said, yeah, send them out and we'll work things out. So that'll be like the first not on my home base testing or playing around with, just to see how things work, make sure the processes work, make sure basically the dashboard works so you can place the order, and then the VAs can follow the order instructions. And then it'll be based on that. The remote system will be out in California. I'm in PA, so that's like 2,000 miles away or something, maybe more. I don't know. But in any case, I don't know. I learned a lesson last time with tools and stuff, like platforms and tools. I'm going to make 1,000,000,000% before I don't have nothing until it's ready. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, so here is my next question. How the fuck does he know about the phones and I don't?
Well, I don't know who he is. Maybe he's in a group, or maybe he talks to somebody in my group, because I talked about it quite a bit in the group, because these are my closest guys, so and girls. But you know, he might be in the group and I just don't know who he is. I don't know.
Live IRL fan.
If that's
Declare
his real picture.
yourself. Yeah. Who the fuck are you? What's your real name? Because I have often wondered that, because I want a conversation about YouTube stuff. I'm trying and testing a lot of YouTube stuff just now. He uploaded a video on your channel a while back.
Oh yeah, because when I first was starting, I was thinking about doing a Kickstarter. I think I took that stuff down. Oh, I showed some of the phones when I started getting the second batches. I did show the phones. That's right. Yeah. I showed the phones. That's okay. It was a short though. It's like 15-second video.
But I still want to know who Live IRL fan is, because he's always here. Seems like a good guy. Seems to try and test shit. So yeah, I want to know who you are, man, or your real name. Approaches. Yeah. Nicholas Morris is here. Hello, Nicholas. Hope you're well. Where in the world are you guys from? Holly Starks is also here. Always a pleasure to see Holly. And Holly just turns up after you're talking about phones and all that stuff. The phone queen walks in the room. So, Holly, good to see you. Hope all is well. I am not likely to get out to NFG in September. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be speaking remotely. I don't think I'm going to get into the US, which is a gutter. I was looking forward to being there. But you're going, Chris. You're going to NFG, right?
Yeah, I'm going. I talked with Mike briefly, and I got over. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm going. Yeah,
I'm telling you just now, Chris. You will thank me later by saying go here. Well, you bought the video clips before, but when you're with these guys, the conversations that go on in the background that are obviously not shown publicly, you will be like, that is the best experience I've ever had in terms of talking to other high-level SEOs. The conversations, the people there, they're absolute freaks. I think it's right up your street. And when I say freaks, like, I mean that in a good way. They're fucking next level crazy with some of the stuff they're doing. So, yeah, I think you'll fit in very well, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. You know, from a learning experience as well as obviously educating people by talking. So if you guys want to check out Chris, check it out, NFG 2021.com. But
and
BKSEO,
he said there's not like a curriculum or something. It's more going to be like it's like a live training course or something. Like I said, what should I have prepared? What should I do? He said, no, just show up. I'm like, okay. I'm going to prepare something mentally though, just in case. So,
Michael Likens, are you going there in person, Michael? And where are you traveling from? But we do have Michael here, BKSEO, ZD Electrical, Camran, James Moore, and Live IRL Fan. The knowledge I have is no different to what Holly knows, but the trick is brownie traffic that is already related to your niche. But we might not know everything Holly knows, so we want to pick Live IRL Fan. Tell us who you are. But it's also fine if you don't want to. That is also fine, mate.
Tell us what Holly knows. Let me make sure that we have all our I's dotted and our T's crossed.
Yeah, you tell us what Holly knows.
Yeah, let me collaborate this one. I'll make sure.
I think so Holly's saying, so Michael's flying down from Columbus, Ohio. Good job. Good to see dedication, Michael. Again, you will thoroughly enjoy it. I can't speak highly enough of that event. And Holly will also back me up on that. Holly's been to loads of events. She'll tell you this one is very good. Holly thinks the live workshop training is the Saturday for NFG. So, Chris, there are speaking slots and then they do the kind of live workshop type thing. So I think you will be doing both, I'm going to assume. But speak to Mike on that. Also, hello to David Moore. But guys, we are 10 minutes in. We've still not got a huge amount of questions. Get your questions asked. Put them in the live chat. Let us know what you want to know, what you want to talk about, anything you want to pick Chris's brains about or my brains about. Get them on here because we don't want to promote the NFG for the full hour of the webinar. Can the event be remotely attended? I am not sure. I think they might sell recordings of the event thereafter. I don't think you can turn up live online. I think the whole premise about these events is attending in person. You know, I think that's what they want to try and achieve, is get the best people there in person. And they do release the tapes later on, but really the tapes are good to a certain degree. However, the conversations at the live event is where the real knowledge is. Make no mistakes. Like me as a speaker, I spoke at the last NFG Rockstars a few years back, and more than 50% of what I said was edited out of the recordings because the guys at NFG didn't really want a lot of those strategies or techniques going out to the public because a lot of them were still working and they were using them and didn't want to damage their own businesses by releasing them to the public. So, you know, I went in there, done that, but they edited a lot of that stuff out for that reason. And I get that. And, you know, I was happy for that to happen. But that's where it's really important for people to attend the events live rather than remotely. I know it's not possible always, especially given the current climate. But if you can get there, try and get there. But you need to speak to the guys. I'm not sure if there will be a little bit where they will open up certain parts of it or whatever for people who want to attend. You'd need to ask them. Definitely worth looking at. But Live IRL fans saying, let's say if you get SMM views and it's not that great because the accounts used for the views are watching many different types of videos of all sorts of niches, this confuses the algorithm. Interesting. Michael Likens is asking about, he wants to ask, what pages would you include local business schema on? I was just thinking the homepage, but wanted your thoughts. So what are you adding your local schema on?
Yeah, I think you're on the right track there. Homepage is where I put it. I don't put it across the entire site. If I have multiple locations, though, I will put local business schema on those local landing pages. Like if I have another location and I'm trying to get that GMB and I have a landing page for that locale, I'll put it on that page for sure.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Hopefully that answers you, Michael. Holly Starks is talking about just flying in for the Friday and Saturday. I have to get the okay from my doctor. Some medical things we are dealing with first. Fingers crossed you make it, Holly, and fingers crossed you make a speedy recovery. Live IRL fans saying that's why micro workers doesn't work either, even though it's real people. Probably makes a lot of sense. You know, I think the algorithm probably does want to see people that are potentially real people looking at the same consistent stuff and all of that stuff. So it makes perfect sense that. Wait a minute. I'm scrolling all over the place. Holly Starks is saying you can buy Premier downloads from those SMM panels. Micro Workers works great. I've been using it for years. It's how you use it and make it work for you. I certainly use Micro Workers as part of my process. And I will say, and I didn't steal it. I got it from one of Holly's trainings, but I got her template and everything, and I adapted that to suit me, and I can confirm that it works very, very well. So there you go. BKSEO, though, is saying, does micro workers still work for GMBs, even though they're not in the local area? So, Chris, what is your opinion before Holly answers this? Is it important to get local people on your GMBs, or are you thinking that micro workers and any old garbage works?
Well, you have to have there's already if you're a business that's utilizing micro workers, which means you're probably already have a lot of other factors. You're getting a lot of actual local people. You're probably also running Facebook ads and running traffic. So to add additional from anywhere, I have seen a positive result. So I'm not overly concerned with only USA or only this. I just do international, looking for the cheapest possible, to be honest with you.
But it would probably be fair to add to that, Chris, though, if you can get local people onto your GMB, whether that be through Facebook ads or something else, for sure. That's a great place to start, right?
That's a magic. Yes, that's part of it for sure. Absolutely.
That's what I would do. And obviously I just want to highlight that. I don't want someone to pick this up and go, fuck it, just
run with that.
No. And that's it. No. So just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, there's a process. It's not just click a button and win. No.
Yeah. But like I've said very often before, Chris, I have set processes for different things that I do. Now, one or two of the parts of those processes might not actually make all the difference, but they're still part of my process, and that's my formula for making shit work. If someone could argue here that you're wasting your time with micro workers, but if it works for you and you feel there's a positive thing from it and it's part of your overall process and it's a mix of all of this other stuff, then that's it. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it goes. So that's the way you have to look at it. But also, it might also be a numbers game to back up the kind of local people, the Facebook ads, as you say. So you've got to think at the bigger picture, guys, when you're looking at that as well. It's none of this is set in stone. It's all about having your own processes. And as I say, I'm pretty sure I hemorrhage money all over the place and stuff that I don't need. But sometimes it's fun just to buy shit. And that's not the right attitude. That's a bad attitude to have. Buying shit is not the answer. But I'm sure Chris can agree with me, though. As an SEO, it's fun to just buy shit sometimes just to see what the fuck.
Try.
I'm a mug for that all day long. Buy all sorts of weird shit. But anyway, moving on. Michael Likens, would those other location pages be the other pages on your money site or standalone landers? So obviously that was the question relating to Schema on the local stuff. So if you've got location pages, they're on your website. They're not standalone websites. Would that be correct?
Yeah, they're not standalone websites. They're on the website. I mean, Google's going to rank the page. So I'm looking at this is its own, let's just say it says locations at the top or near me. I list my main locations. Let's say it's state, state, state. I click on the state, it takes me to the drop down, and then the drop down is going to have my cities. It'll take me to my city landers. So it's a standalone page, not necessarily a website or a subdomain.
What I would also add to this, Michael, is I think, you know, in terms of you already thinking that you might have standalone landing pages, that was probably a tactic that worked when exact match domain names worked a lot better. A lot of people used to do that. But you've also got to consider the cost of hosting and making standalone websites. Do you need that, or do you just create a location page? And I think as time goes on, Google want one website that ranks for a whole bunch of stuff, and you can do that without all the added cost and drama and all the other kind of stuff that goes with it. So try and think that way, because exact match domain names are not as effective as they once were. They are getting better, but they're not effective as they were, say, 10 years ago. Holly Starks is talking about micro workers again. She was using it in a job yesterday, and it's already ranking top 3 spots in only 12 hours. It works great for YouTube. For GMB, you have to play around with it to make it work for you. Stephen Stewart. When writing copy for a website homepage and you can't fit huge paragraphs, but you want to rank for multiple keywords, should I still use the SEMrush content brief based on one keyword or many? Stephen, before we go any further, why would you want your homepage to rank for multiple keywords first and foremost? The way I see it is your homepage doesn't necessarily have to rank for anything other than your brand name. In a lot of cases, a lot of people's homepages are well designed, to look aesthetically pleasing, and sometimes you can't fit in huge paragraphs or target multiple keywords with the homepage. So I would be having different categories, different pages, different sections, targeting a whole bunch of different keywords rather than trying to ram a lot into your homepage. So I think, just off the bat here, I think you're already thinking wrong, because a homepage with huge paragraphs is just not going to work. It has to look a bit slick, and it's not. Homepages are not really designed to rank for multiple keywords, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be using the SEMrush content brief. By all means, maybe if you can capture one of your main keywords with your homepage, that's fine to do, and you could use the SEMrush content brief for that. But sometimes I feel on a homepage, if you're trying to ram in, 700 or 800 words or whatever SEMrush is going to tell you to write, is not the right course of action. Chris, would you agree with that?
Absolutely, for sure. There's not much to add there. That's what else is there?
Yeah,
that's it,
some people your homepage is the a powerful page in your website, and probably the most powerful page in your website. But I think you have to build your branding around about that rather than go after location specific stuff or whatever. I stupidly, let me just give you an example here, Stephen. Years ago, on my craigcampbell.co.uk, I started out with a personal brand, and I had SEO Glasgow on there. And I had that for maybe, a year or two. And I bashed loads of links at it with the anchor text, SEO Glasgow, and various other branded anchor text and everything. Now, I decided at that point that SEO Glasgow didn't warrant a place in my homepage, because SEO Glasgow was actually just a whole bunch of SEOs looking to see how well they ranked. It wasn't bringing me in a lot of business. And obviously it wasn't the right structure from the get-go. So I added an inner page on my website to target SEO Glasgow, and I de-optimized the homepage and took off the SEO Glasgow from the homepage. And I couldn't get that inner page to ever rank because I'd done it all back to front. So that is why I very specifically try and just target branded terms, or something very, very generic with a homepage. Do not tie yourself into, anything else, because once Google sees that homepage ranking for something, and then you maybe realize that you should have had a much better structure to your SEO, then sometimes Google's never going to, rank that inner page. Your homepage is always going to be seen as the kind of main page for that. So that's just a wee story on that as well. Hopefully that helps you. Anything to add to that, Chris?
No, I do like, though, in some cases, a homepage for local, at least, it's going to be primarily based on brand. But sometimes, like if I have, let's just say I'm in Florida, I might make that about Florida, and then I'll have my city landing pages for the services. But aside from that, I might associate it with a state, a big one, if I'm only operating there. But usually it's just brand. So
but
I think
you've got to think ahead, though, like what you're saying. If it is purely, if you're a local plumber that's never going to work outside of Florida, then it makes perfect sense to utilize your homepage to go after Florida. After all, it's the most powerful page in your website. So if that's the case, then fine. But obviously, me building a personal brand, I'm not targeting. I'm not tied to specifically Glasgow. I could rank for anything anywhere in the world. And stupidly and naively put Glasgow in my homepage title tag when I started out. So I started off on the wrong foot, and as I say, it is what it is. But as Stephen also went on to say, the homepage is simplistic and doesn't have much text, but also planning using keyword clusters. So make sure you've just got the right navigational structure and silo structure and build out content on your inner pages. And that's the best way to do it. So hopefully that helps you, Stephen. Holly Starks, for live streams, it works best. For normal videos, so Holly and Live IRL are talking about more CTR stuff and all that kind of thing with micro workers and whatnot. Just trying to I'm just trying to get the conversation go on in the live chat. So BKSEO is asking, hey Chris, in your GMB categories video, you went over checking the source code. Can you be a little more specific as to what they should look for? Is it website URLs or specific commands, or what were you looking at here?
GMB categories? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what video or what exactly you're getting at here. In my GMB categories video, I went over checking source code. I mean, I check source code in a lot of videos. I mean, you have to let me know what I was referencing, or it could have just been a blurb. I was just showing one piece. I could have been talking about multiple ideas. That's hard to pinpoint. What video? I'm sorry.
Madge from Magic PR is here, as is William Rock. Good to see you guys here, Madge and William. Just a wee shout out for Madge, magicpr.com. If you're interested in press releases, this guy's worth watching, believe me. But more on that later. I will be doing a video on something very cool that Magic PR have coming out. So watch this space. Anyway, we'll come back to that another time on another video. And Stephen Stewart was saying, thinking of terms near me phrases. So, yeah, just try, when you're doing your research, Stephen, just try and think of the bigger picture and where the end goal is. If you are staying local, keep it local. But just try and think of the bigger picture, longer term. Richard Johnson is talking about, for using micro workers to rank YouTube video, should I have them search in YouTube and then watch the video? Search in YouTube, then watch, or follow a link from a page where I have the video embedded. So, Chris, when you are, doing your stuff, what are you doing if you're doing any of this stuff at all? Are you getting them to search for it on YouTube, or are you embedding it in other places, doing a bit of both, or what would you advise here?
I don't utilize microworkers for YouTube. When we were doing the panels, though, we were utilizing websites. And then clicking. The only thing I've ever done is like live sitting, anything with live streams, but I don't utilize microworkers for YouTube. That's not what I use it for. So I'm not the guy to ask.
Cool. Maybe Holly could chip in with that. I try and stay clear away from it. But Holly could maybe chip in with an answer. Jose is asking, for client work, Chris, do you do 6 or 12-month SEO campaigns? What I would say first, Jose, is SEO tends to be ongoing. It's an ongoing process. It's optimizing, building out, adding more value, adding more pages, adding more schema, adding more technical, adding more content, and it's rinse and repeat. However, obviously we all know that clients are different and all that. When you tend to work with clients, Chris, what are you signing them up to, if anything? Do you sign them up on contracts or not?
Like the new ones I have now, it's been more performance-based, flat fee performance-based. They have very, very specific goals in very specific areas with very specific locations, and they'll have multiple locations. Lately, it's been a flat fee. Like for the past 2, it was flat fee performance-based at a very high range. I'm not trying to do the, $1,200 a month or whatever it is. I'm trying to get away from that. I want it to be perform. What do you want? Here's your number. Yes or no. But that's just lately. I'm just trying it out. So I'll let you know how that goes. The money's nice, and I'm working extra hard to get a result faster. It's good for the client. It's good for me. So I like performance-based. You want these 10? You want these words? Okay. Here's the price.
Think performance-based is a good model, but I just think a lot of people out there try and tie people up into, contracts or certain terms. And I think that's probably the wrong way to go about it. I think you've got to give them an out if they don't like your service or it's not working out or whatever. And that's not always your fault. Certain clients just are not spending the right money, and they need to be able to get out. If they do then someone gets a hold of them and gives them the right advice and tells them to spend the right money, they need to be able to get out of your 6 or 12-month contract. So I think it's just got to be a month-to-month thing in a lot of cases. And if you do well, the client won't fire you. So
that's right.
Simple as that. And I've worked with people, for years and years and years. And, if you're good at what you do and you can actually drive traffic and rank a website, the 6 or 12-month campaign shouldn't even be a question. And people will not let go of you, believe me, if you do a good job.
Well, I looked at to be honest with you, I was looking at like first, last, and a bounce, or first and a bounce we were doing. And I was looking at, okay, I'm going to get all of this up front. I'm going to take generally half or 3/4 of it, put it into content and links and start running traffic and do a bunch of work. And then I'm trying to dog them out for the next couple of months. Instead, I'm thinking, well, if general retention is 4 to 8 months and it's dogged out, why don't I just ask for half of the fee now, half of it when we hit our benchmark KPI? So,
yeah,
I'm trying different things. I'm just curious to see, makes me work harder. That's for sure.
Another question for you, Chris, from John Bell. How much? So obviously you're talking about you're trying different methods in terms of charging and how you work with clients. Is there an average charge that you have?
So,
I know it's a hard question to answer because
I have a new guy, right? I have a gentleman that's in Florida. That's $3,600, right? So I'm not even touching the website. So there you go. It's client by client. This is performance-based. Performance-based work. So I'm working towards a result. I gave a very particular end game of what I think it's going to take to achieve it. Here's how much it's going to cost, and here's the time frame that I think we can do it in. And that's what we're working towards.
And you mentioned there that you're literally not touching the website. So I'm assuming this is a client who's got decent on-page and a lot of content.
He's got somebody that does that.
Has he got someone that does that?
Yeah.
So you guiding that person as well, though, for that
Absolutely.
money?
Yeah, I just talk with him. Like, I don't have to do any of the design. I don't have to do. It's very particular. I just lay it out. This is what I would do. It's been kind of difficult because he's in a different zone than me. So we're getting down the flow. That's normal. But as long as I don't have to do it, I'm happy.
As long as you don't have to do the donkey work. So consultancy, mentoring, call it what you like. That is the good way. If there's someone there to do the donkey work and take your tips and advice, that's always a good way to do it. And they're probably to be honest, more passionate about writing the content anyway. They understand the business more and all that shit. So why would you want to get bogged down in that? So a lot of people say to me, so Craig, like, how much work do you do? Like, I'm not ever going to do the grunt work. I know how SEO works and I know how to rank a website. I ain't sitting writing your content. That is a fact. You can write it, or I'll get someone to write it, but you know, I won't be doing it. So you always need someone to do that grunt work.
Definitely.
So
especially when they know about the topic, you have a writer and somebody that does the design and they're already in the industry. Let's have them do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just makes sense.
Oh, that's it. Why have anyone else? Like, you hire a plumber to come and fix your toilet. It's like the same kind of thing. You wouldn't have a butcher coming to fix your toilet. So why get some ropey, person doing your X amount of content when they don't know the first thing about it. So
exactly. I will optimize it though. Like I will, after it's all written, I'll add the words that are needed. Basically, I'll run it through Pop and be like, I would do this.
John Bell is asking how much or how many clients do you have at the moment, Chris? I know you work with a smaller amount, don't you? So
there's only 6 now. I was down to 4, but I took on 2 new ones. I take them here and there. It just has to be the right. I use most of them come through the the consulting form for like $100 hour-long talk. I'll talk to them for 45 minutes, see where they're at. If I like them and they need more work and they have more than one location, we can usually do something.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm
Randy Roday's here. Hello, Mr. Roday. Hope you're well, mate. Had to chase lunch down. Got to look after yourself. Magic PR is asking, do you guys do you provide proposals to your new clients, or do you provide, or do you normally do meetings and just discuss it, Chris? I'm going to give you my answer first and why, because Chris is obviously going to be trying stuff out. I prefer just having a meeting with clients. Me proposing what someone should spend, I'm just going to pluck a figure from fresh air. It comes down to what the client has to spend on their marketing overall. And if they've got a budget of this, I can then say, right, I would spend it here, and there. It's not up to me to provide a proposal for that particular business that I've, maybe not ever competed in that niche. So I think you're better just having an honest discussion about it. What is the client comfortable paying? And what are they likely to get for paying that? Or even, is there any point in just having a shitty retainer? There's no point in doing proposal after proposal after proposal when you can just speak to someone and say, listen, dude, it's just not going to cut it. You want to rank for casino, you've only got £500 a month. Let's stop it. Let's stop talking just now and move on. You're not wasting time churning out proposals trying to do it. And I think a lot of people, prefer that. But Chris, do you do proposals, or is it just face-to-face or just conversations where you're just upfront and transparent?
It's upfront, transparent. I'm literally, here's what you need. Here's what it's going to take to get there. Here's the price. It's usually, I'm going through basically a checklist, a mental checklist. I have a written checklist too, like an onboarding. I'm asking them, I'm getting those questions though. How much money do you have? How much do you want to spend? Have you worked with anybody before? Like, I'm getting those questions in there, but it's face-to-face is what I prefer for sure. Because I want to see, hey, do we click? Do we vibe? Are you cool? Are you a jerk? Are you nice? Can I work with you? Do you understand that I might say it's going to be 90 days, but hey, it might take me 93 days. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of elements there. Is this somebody I'm working with,
You mentioned something very specific there. Are you a jerk? Are you a nice guy? Can I work with you? Roy Cohen is basically said he's got a client that's ruining his life, underpaid, he's over-delivering. Should he just let them go even though the money is decent? What I would say to you, Roy, is you have to be able to say no to certain clients. Someone who doesn't value your time or your service can go fuck themselves. If you're performing and you're underpaid, get the hell out of there, because the guy will never get anyone as good, if that's the case. And I think many of us that start out in the industry charge too little. I know for a fact that Chris Palmer was charging too little, just due to off-air conversations. We have a mutual friend in Mark Slorens who's in your group, Chris. When I've sat down with Mark and had a conversation with him and his clients, he came for some advice. He stays local to me, and I went, Mark, what the fuck are you charging? This is a disgrace.
Yeah.
Mark has been able to scale that up. So many of us have come in, including me, undercharging and being trampled all over the top of by the client. And you're desperate to keep that client money coming. You're scared to say anything. You're scared to fight back. Now, 9 times out of 10, when I've been in that position and I've lost the plot and had an argument with the client saying you can fuck off and you can do this, they'll normally come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I wasn't paying enough. Have a decent conversation with them. Just say, listen, guys, certain boundaries, you're allocated this amount of time, and I'll have 1 meeting a month with you, or whatever the fuck your deal is, and that's it. End of story. And if they don't like it, tell them to piss off. They can't ruin your life, and they can't make you feel like that, because you'll eventually crumble, suffer anxiety, stress, and everything else. And that's not what it's about. We're all here trying
in the background.
So you have to learn to say no to certain clients, Roy. As much as that may seem the most stupid advice, I think when you fight back and tell the client, and they actually realize that you're doing a really good job, they will pay you more. Even if you say, listen, guys, I'm off, I'm not getting paid enough for this shit. You need to be firmer with the client and just set proper boundaries as well. So, but listen, on the flip side of that, we've all had dickhead clients that you just want to fucking throw in the bin. And sometimes you have to just throw them in the bin because they're nuts. But Chris, what were you going to say there?
Well, that's and there was often like, a lot of people are trying to do the hands off. What I found is being up front, like actually building a relationship, like talking with them, walking them through, letting them understand not everything is their like title tag, like not giving them everything, but being more of you're working in their business, so it's just way better. Like if I can't have that, I don't want it. I'm going to charge you more, but I'm your guy, and as long as they understand that and we can come to a mutual fair agreement on money, I'll be your guy. I would get rid of them, man. There's no money worth headache. No. I can't.
You're not making yourself ill. For every bad client there is out there, there's a good guy who's getting rinsed rotten by someone else and overpaying some douchebag. So there is money out there. So do that. Hang on to them if you have to, money wise, but try and replace them very, very quickly. Drop them, get someone else to pay the same retainer, and fuck them off and throw them in the bin. Unless they come back crawling and give you better money and better terms and all that stuff. John Bell is asking, Chris, what is the tool that you said you put your content through to optimize it?
Page optimizer. Yeah, after everything's done, I do like to it's like a validation almost, like a second check. Like you do everything, you're looking, making sure your word counts are right, the densities, but hey, sometimes you miss some stuff. You want to make sure, run it through for $40 a month. It's worth it to validate.
Listen,
come on.
You just have to have that as part of your process, really. And I'm pretty sure, let's be honest, Chris, if you're outsourcing your content, you ain't reading that word for word before it goes on the website. You're relying on these tools to pick up your sloppiness, and we are all sloppy. That's just the way it is. So
I don't read it.
You should though. You should be reading the content, guys. So Live IRL fan is talking about bots and wasting money on bots and all of that stuff. Also risk of scams and viruses. Sounds like a whole lot of fucking hard work. That's all I'm going to say. Fuck that. Roy Cohen is saying, thanks, guys. I really needed to hear that. Thanks again and have a good night. You have a good night too, Roy. And listen, never let clients get you down. There's a lot of douchebags out there who mistreat SEOs and all that kind of stuff, and vice versa. A lot of horrible SEOs who treat clients like mugs as well. But if you're a good guy and you're doing a good job, get rid. That's all I can really say. It's not worth your health, for whatever the fee is. Regardless of whether it's $100, $1,000, or $10,000, it ain't worth your health. So it's important to be happy. And if you're not happy getting into your work and doing this stuff, what's the fucking point? So I look forward to everything I do, coming on these lives, doing all the stuff that I do. I don't wake up any day going, oh shit, got to get up. I mean, there are days where you just like can't be asked, but yeah, the day you start hating it is the day you need to find new clients. But also equally, what I'd say, Roy, just as an added thing as well, you sound someone that I've been in that position, and you need to be able to delegate stuff out. And even if that's the client management side of things, let some other douche talk to the client and give them all the shit and let them take that on board. There's guys out there, sales guys or whatever, outsource that shit. If you know that you find it hard work and stressful dealing with clients, and I did, get someone else to fill that out. But it's the same as finance. Like in your business, Chris, everyone's different, but I hate the finance side of it. As much as I love to say I like making money, when I was doing client work, I hated fucking invoicing and reporting and all that shit. And I just found it very boring. And I'm just like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And before I know it, I get stuck in a rut and I was always on the back foot until I just sorted the process out and let someone else do it. But I wouldn't let someone else do it before because I was a control freak and I wanted to be the man that was in control of everything, seen everything, and that's also the wrong attitude. So, Roy, outsource all the shit that you fucking hate doing and stick to what you're good at. Like, whether that's content writing, whether it's reporting, we're all different. We're all good at different things. Some people like talking to their clients and having all those meetings. So, maybe outsource, get a VA, whatever, or a local member of staff.
Yeah, it might be worth paying somebody $200 to come in, once every other week. Your job is to make these client calls.
Yeah,
$200 for an hour or whatever it takes.
I don't know if there's ever been a service where you could. That would probably be a good service where someone could basically just be a digital marketing fucking client. Fucking,
you're the whipping boy.
Yeah, and go in and just take the beating from the client and just be able to answer them sensibly back. Because people would probably fill your boots. Hey man, here's a couple of $100 for 3 or 4 phone calls. Get them off my fucking desk. You'd probably become a millionaire. So flip this in the head, Roy, and build a business that just deals with douchebag clients. And I'm pretty sure half the SEO community would fucking sign up in a heartbeat. So
definitely.
There's a business model within that. Yeah.
I'll handle all your guys. You just have to make sure your reporting's right. Make sure you have results. I'll take care of them. That would be a good job.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
But CBD Cakes is saying me and him are trending for CBD SEO and CBD affiliates. I did see your tweet, actually. I wasn't sure if it was a wind-up or not, but that's pretty cool. But I'm pretty sure that's down to you and your tweets and talking about the Ganja News domain name and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. Madge from Magic PR. Chris, is your CTR course now available on ING?
The mini training is, yes. The bulk. It's like the smaller version. Yes, there is a version of it there, yes.
I think they sent another email out the other day promoting it, and they obviously linked to our video where we were doing the thing, the CTR competition that we had as well. So they pushed it out the other day on their mailing list for sure. So it is on there. BKSU, I haven't actually seen your comments, believe it or not, bud. They haven't come through. If anyone's asked anything and it's not been spoken about yet, then please do put your thing in the YouTube chat. For some reason, it seems like it's not pulling everything through. And I actually seen that yesterday, Chris. Remember a few weeks back, we're like, it's really quiet here. Yeah. I had Gary Farmer, I had loads of other people all commenting on Facebook, and it wasn't pulling through onto the feed here. So I don't think the the feeds are that quiet. I just think the actual functionality of this is somewhat fucked. Just in case you see it in your own stuff as well, there's maybe not as many comments coming through because people are on Facebook and whatever, and I'm not sure if there's some kind of issue with that. But put your question back in BKSEO, and I will certainly get it up and answer it. If you guys are struggling to see anything coming up, please do try and put it on the YouTube live chat. And he is on YouTube. I mean, I can see these.
Yeah, I'm seeing those fine. Yeah.
There may be, if it contained any swear words or something like that, it might be getting filtered out by Google, or you said something that's potentially a bit naughty in terms of a niche or whatever, then it might be that. But yeah, let me know, and please do try again, BKSU, and we'll try and help you. Michael Likens is saying the consulting side helps him enjoy his role more. Explaining things to web development agencies trying to get into SEO is rejuvenating and is unattachable from doing the actual work. Good contrast to client work. It is, like, I thoroughly enjoy being able to get paid for consultancy and you're in and out. You know, give advice and get, you know, get out of there. You're not tied up in all the kind of mess that's potentially going on in there. So, yeah, it's great doing consulting. I think I thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, you have to have a certain level of experience to be able to do that properly as well. Yeah, I think it's for some of us and not for others. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. Do you do a lot of consultancy, Chris?
I try to. I talk to a few people every day. Yes, I really enjoy it a lot. I do it more for. I mean, I do a lot of the consulting where they just need a few things, but really for me, it's top level. You know, the prices are highly competitive for what I'm doing. I look at it as top of the funnel, though. I'm trying to get them in the door. These people are serious. You know, I'm looking to see can I help them? That's what I really want to know.
Yeah, no, that's it. If you can help them, that's what it's all about. But guys, do keep your questions coming. Please also do give us a little like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also do check out Mr. Chris Palmer's channel, Chris Palmer SEO. He's still bashing out content after content after content, which I'm going to talk about just while some more questions come in, Chris. How do you have a content plan, or do you literally just fire up stuff when it springs into your head, or are you trying to do like 5 videos a week, or what the fuck's the plan there?
Yeah, so there's both of those going on. It's whatever pops in my melon, but usually on Sunday or Saturday, or even throughout the week, like if I hear something during another mastermind, or if I'm reading something on Black Hat or whatever, and I want to expand on it, I write on my whiteboard. So I have a whiteboard with my ideas where I'm going to make videos. And then if something just pops up, I'll make a video. Or if I'm doing a live and I'm like, I feel really good, and I just make another video, I'll cut it, repurpose it, and then put it up, you know? So there's a lot going on. Anything that comes in my head, if I think it'll help, I make a video.
Yeah, no, that's, I was just curious to know if there was an underlying actual strategy, or it was just idea based and fuck it, fire up the camera and go for it.
Idea based, yeah, that's it. Whatever, I just jot them down on the whiteboard, whatever comes to my head. If I think that it's helpful, or if I've been questioned about it, I'll do it. And then if I run out of stuff, if I run out of whiteboard ideas, then I'll just make a post. Hey, what do you need help with? And then people will tell me, and I'm like, that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one, and I'll just write them on the board.
Fair play. Yeah, as good a strategy as any. So BKSEO is talking about the codes. So remember earlier on when he was asking about the source codes that you were looking at on a video, he said you were looking at the codes of the GMB creation page. Does that make any more sense to you?
Yeah, so you can see what I was just giving a very brief place to look to see the verification service that runs in the background. When you take a look at the verification service within the inspect element, and you can look inside the file folders, and it only happens when you get to screen 3 or 4. you'll see the service pop up inside of the inspect element, and you can click it. When you open that up and you can see all the code, when you go up to the very top and beautify, inside of the code, what it picks out is going to be some URLs. From those URLs, they're going to the people that wrote this stuff. And you can see a lot of their other projects where they're talking about, services and the way things run. But what I'm really getting at is a lot of these people also seem to have patents. So it's a good read, and that's probably what I was talking about. I wouldn't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of good reads found within the inspect element. Yeah.
Cool. Hopefully that helps you BKSEO. And appreciate you putting that back in, mate. We weren't ignoring you, not sure what went on. But anyway, Holly has a question. Which is more useful for ranking, press releases or guest blogs? As in, which will help you rank faster, better, but probably more importantly, stickiness, I think, is a key part of this, Chris. So obviously, Holly had the competition before, and she was very quickly able to dominate a lot of stuff through the press release things that she was doing. But 2 weeks after that, they didn't stick around that well. So I know you're going, this could go either way, but what would you say to someone who's asking this in terms of what is more useful for actually ranking rather than so obviously Holly's saying faster, so you've got to take the speed into account, but also rank better and also make it stick. So what do you think is better, guest posts or press releases?
So you make a valid point there. That last piece, the stickiness, is the only thing. But there are a lot of press releases that have very high authoritative sites within them, like within the distribution network, that stick around. That's a toss-up. That's a very strong, tough question. That's probably why she asked it. I want to say just because of speed and price and ease, I would probably, if I had to choose one, I like the press releases. Because I'm getting a vast selection. They're fast. I can get some nice wins. I can drive traffic. There's a lot going on with the press releases.
But if
I had to choose one, I like press releases. I like PR better.
But if you wanted the long-term gains, surely it would have to be guest posts.
If I wanted a long-term wins and I'm trying to drive authority and this type of thing, I do like the guest posts as well, for sure. Like for building true authority, I'd go the guest post route. If I'm trying to get quick wins, I like the press release route.
But I think we could probably all agree that you probably have to do a mixture of both.
Yeah.
So Randy's chipping in there as a PR guy. I love PRs, but I'd have to say a good guest post in the long term is going to be better for the stickiness. Guys, let us know what you think is the best out of all of them, because it's a very, very well-worded question. Mm-hmm. Because fast doesn't necessarily mean better and doesn't mean sticky.
That's right.
So, yeah, it's a kind of good question. I'm stealing that. I'm going to ask someone else. John Bell is asking, what forums or websites do you guys recommend to keep up with SEO, to get tips and tricks outside of YouTube? So is there a place where you go, Chris, to keep on top of the game?
A lot of this, to be honest, a lot of this stuff comes from reading and learning. Like you'll read something on, say, Black Hat World or on IMG, or watching another video from like Ted Kabitis or you, and it'll get me in a thought process, and then I'll go try stuff, which then stumbles me into a new nugget of new discovery for myself. So I think just taking in a lot of information, and then as you're trying stuff out, that's when the true gems come out, in my opinion. For me, you read something, you're like, let's go try it. Next thing you know, you start getting like let's say this, Holly put me on she had like a program for the podcasts. I'm trying to get that, and I'm like, well, I think that as I started learning and getting into it, then I started realizing that the true winners are the ones that have their own RSS, not the distribution through the other hubs. And the reason is because then you could do follows in there that aren't redirected. And I was like, it's like a discovery thing, right? So that's just one instance. This goes on forever. Like since the beginning of time, it's been like that for me. I'm like, I hear something, I go try it, and then I'm like, oh, I found this. So
it's how you take a small piece of information and then make it your own. You know, and I think I've heard Holly arguing this as well, where you know someone says, "Oh, CTR's not Holly's," blah 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 blah, but Holly's taken a bit of CTR and then added her own fucking mix onto it, and you know, no one owns anything in this. It's you taking a bit of information and then adding your own shit, like Holly done with her hundreds of phones and all that shit. And you could argue that Holly was probably the first person to do that, but CTR has been around a long time, and I've seen people going, "Oh, Holly, you know, stole that or whatever." She never claimed CTR, but she added her own
Jordan
mix.
Pierce was talking about micro workers freaking in 2010. Like even before that, I saw guys like like the semantic mastery dudes. I saw them talking about like, dude, like that stuff has been around since the dawn of time.
But it's how you're proactive with it and add a more unique taste to it. So, but Holly is going to put you in a headlock, Chris. She's basically saying you make her cry when you say PR is better than guest blog posts. And she's going to put you in a headlock and make you listen at NFG. I would pay good money to see that. That might
go. You might get a lot of. That might draw a lot
Holly,
of eyeballs.
We're actually looking for someone to replace me in the boxing ring to beat up Brad. Holly could be that person as well. Yeah. But back to BKSEO. He's saying that's interesting. I did check the code a couple of times, and the URLs on there are mostly Google sites. Is he on the right track? That was the code for the GMB, the inspect element.
It's not in the. It's not necessarily in the source. It's in the inspect element under sources. So it's not in the source code, like right-click source code. It's inspect sources. Look at the file folders, but you have to get in. Like you go to the main screen. You'll go to the next screen after that. After you type in like the categories, and then you're going to see the verification service. So yeah, you're on the right path if you follow that.
Cool. Last couple of questions. Arla, how would you go about ranking an e-commerce product? Just the same SEO factors as normal?
How would you go about ranking an e-commerce? I don't. I'm sure a lot of the fundamentals are the same. I mean, I don't necessarily just seek out to do e-commerce. So Craig probably has more experience with that. I don't know.
Listen, SEO is SEO, regardless of whether you're ranking a product, a page, or whatever. You know, it's kind of the same process time and time again. There's no special bloody, you know, way of doing it or anything. It's all the same stuff. And yeah, don't confuse yourself too much. And Holly's also saying on the PR stuff, she just sees them drop so much. Holly, where do you buy PR? And Holly's also saying, like before Randy, are you using it for a pat in the back or to keep your client happy with the PR news stuff? That is a good shout. You know, are you humouring the client, you know, with some of this stuff? And I think that also comes into play with a lot of it. And BKSEO is asking, do you use PR for GMBs or just money websites? I think, you know, it depends on the PR you're doing. If it was local PR, you could send it to your GMB, but in general, people are just doing it as a kind of humouring, ego massaging type thing. And also there are some high PR links out there you can get which do pass a lot of value. So a mix of all of that together. Holly is making their own PR network to compete with the big boys. It won't be ready for a few months. Keep your eyes out, folks. And she thinks guest blogs are better than PR every day of the week. Also good to know. And Keyword Cupid blog is full of good stuff. He is a very smart guy, so for sure. So yeah, Randy, Magic PR, and Holly are all talking about the PR side. So BKSEO is saying, so inspect sources. There are dozens of files. Could you be a little more specific?
Go to the page, go to the second one, inspect element, source, inspect element. There's like 3 things. Click sources. There's files there. You're looking for verification service. You got to click through the files. I don't know if it's like the I3 one. I'm not sure which one it is exactly, but you're looking for verification service. And you have to get the right screen. And as another helpful tip, you only trigger it when you click. You have to put something into the categories tab, and then a window is going to pop up top like this. Only when that happens, it'll show. Yeah, that was interesting for me too. But what you're getting at is the URLs that are inside of the code and where they go. But you have to beautify in order to see them. Well, I mean, you could find them, but it's going to take you forever. There's a lot there.
BKSEO, you can use Harrow, you can use other people's news networks, but Randy does have his own service. Randy Rodet, or 38 Digital Market, is his business name. Do get in contact with Randy. He is a good PR provider himself. He's probably going to be too polite to say that, but give him a shout and he can give you a bit of tips or advice. So check Randy Rodet out, 38 Digital Markets. And with clients, I see entity is a big thing for PR. But
volume. And a lot of PR guys, like, they're introducing, like, one of the vendors that I've been dealing with, they're starting to introduce their own Google News little networks. So, like, you'll get your initial 100, and that's where all of them, these news channels and all this stuff, right? And then they're like starting to introduce their own. You can tell it's, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I don't know. A lot of, man, you get a lot of bang for your buck. You know, you go and lay down $45 to be able to go and gather up, 300, 450 links for dirt cheap, and get a nice rush, and then hit the next keyword, get a rush, hit the next keyword. Especially when you have say you get a franchise or you get a travel club and they have 47 locations and they offer 3 services, and you're trying to get a bunch of links really fast and get a rush in a particular area because this weekend we're going to have an open house. They work good, man. They work good. I could get some fast rank really fast. At least if not the main website, I could get there with the PR fast, so I like them.
And yes, Randy Rodet has the same name. It can't be too many Randy Rodets. So find them on Facebook. If you can't, hit me up and I will introduce you on Facebook.
He's Randy at the top. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah. But on that note, guys, we are out of time. I do appreciate all of the questions. Do check out ODYS for 30% off of Age Domains up until the end of August. So check what's available and get something bought up while you can for 30% off. But on that note, also do check out Mr. Chris Palmer SEO on YouTube. With he's got a whole bunch of great tutorials. I'm pretty sure you've all seen it before anyway. But BK SEO, why am I deleting videos all the time? I have deleted one video. So if that constitutes all the time, then I'm not going to apologize because I've got absolutely nothing to apologize for. However, I rudely made an outburst last week against Mr. William Jones, and I shouldn't have done it. It's not the right thing to do without understanding the full story, and I've not deleted any other videos, buddy. Trust me, I have not. I don't make videos and then delete them. That would be counterproductive unless the video contains out-of-date information. So, yeah. But I made an outburst against William Jones, which was not the right thing to do. And, so I deleted it. So there you go. But anyway, guys, enough of that. I will catch you guys all again next week with Chris. So see you later on. Take it easy.
Thank you. See you next time.